Warning, this video contains spoilers for Secret Invasion and a lot of other Marvel shit, so just be aware, you know. Marvel is a franchise that everyone in the world has seen or heard of. I'm sure if you went up to a newly born fetus in Indonesia and held up a picture of Robert Downey Jr., they'd ask you why you're showing them a picture of Iron Man. For a long time now, Marvel was just a formidable foe in the eyes of Warner Bros. And literally anyone with the famous movie franchise under their belt, and to be honest, they still are. The MCU's ability to gather hype for their newest projects is unmatched, but lately it just feels like Marvel is nothing but disappointment after disappointment. Phase 4 set a new precedent for the MCU after the success of WandaVision, which I think is a pretty decent show. The idea of Marvel using shows to tell stories that maybe wouldn't make sense for a movie or would work better as a show seems like a great idea, and for what it's worth, it worked pretty well with WandaVision. But even WandaVision couldn't escape from the never-ending disappointment of something I'd like to call the final episode big superpower fight scene effect. I can't help but notice that in every MCU show, the final episode is always lackluster compared to the other episodes of the show. The only exception being Loki. Even Moon Knight couldn't escape from the effect, which honestly hurt me most because it's like my favorite Marvel show. I love watching it every time. Secret Invasion, Marvel's new show, is the best example of this effect that I can provide you. And let me just say that I actually liked the first 5 episodes of the show. I used to recommend the show to people before the final episode came out at least. I liked how grounded the show was, and I liked the fact that these characters had to solve problems against the enemy without a superhero to come and help them. I could even excuse the part where Gravik gets Groot powers for some reason. I really don't know why they did that. In the final episode though, all these qualities were thrown out the window in favor of the signature bad CGI fight scenes that are synonymous with Marvel at this point. When I finished the final episode of Secret Invasion, I couldn't help but be angry after a show that I just praised for its groundedness just completely forsakes it for a cool fight scene. Almost as if they're spitting in the faces of me and the other people who thought Marvel could shy away from its formulaic bullshit just one more time. Like, take a second to look at this and tell me this isn't the ugliest shit you've ever seen out of a fucking Marvel movie, bruh. Like, I swear to God, when I saw the scene where Gaia and Gravik were fighting with everyone's superpowers, I was sitting in my chair like this. And also, why do they have to make her that OP? Like, how are they gonna deal with this? How does this not make every other character pointless? Like, how are they gonna deal with the character that literally has everyone's superpowers? It makes no sense. I think that if it's true that Rhodey actually has been a Skrull since Civil War, it's complete character suicide for Rhodey, and they've completely fucked over whoever's writing Armor Wars. I mean, I wish them luck, honestly. Like, if they can manage to make that show any good, I'll commend them, and I don't know, I might donate like $50 million to Marvel or something. I don't know. Now, the final episode, Big Superpower Fight Effect, doesn't perfectly describe all the MCU shows, but honestly, it's a close enough description. I think Moon Knight suffers from this effect pretty bad, although it's not as bad as Secret Invasion because nobody can fuck up that bad. Moon Knight is one of, if not my favorite Marvel shows, and I think it really does a great job of grounding itself in its own story, which is something I'm going to touch on later in this video. The story suffers from the 6 episode Marvel format, and I think this would have been great as an introductory movie for Moon Knight. You could really stick that whole story in a 2 hour and 30-minute movie in my opinion. The 5th episode is very compelling and it really makes you feel for Mark and Steven. Then the 6th episode is just like the big CGI fight or whatever. But don't let that distract you from the fact that this is a great show. You should go watch it right now. Pause the video and go watch all 6 episodes. They're all really good. I don't know about the 6th one though. Then we get to Loki, and I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard that there was gonna be a show about the Loki that accidentally escaped in Endgame, I asked myself if Marvel was joking, and if they really had no options left but to tell a story about some random Loki that had a 30-second cameo in Endgame. But then when I watched the show, I loved every bit of it. I loved the acting, the soundtrack was amazing, the narrative kept me hooked, and Loki's arc in the show was amazing. And the one thing I loved the most about it was the way that the episode is clearly not structured around the fight scene at all. Instead, they focus on Kang explaining everything to Loki and Sylvie in a way that still managed to keep me entertained and focused, even if it really is just a monologue. I mean, just listen to this shit.
And just who are you?
I've been dubbed many names by many people. A ruler, a conqueror, He who remains, a jerk. But it's not as simple as a name. Eons ago, before the TVA, a variant of myself lived on Earth in the 31st century. He was a scientist, and he discovered that there were universes stacked on top of his own. At the same time, other versions of us were learning the same thing. Naturally, they made contact, and for a while, there was peace. Narcissistic, self-congratulatory peace. I love your shoes, I love your hair. Oh man, nice nose, thanks man, etc. They shared technology and knowledge, using the best of their universes to improve the others. However, not every version of me was so pure of heart. Some of us, new worlds meant only one thing: new lands to be conquered. The peace between realities erupted into all-out war, each variant fighting to preserve their universe and annihilate the others. This is almost the end, ladies and gentlemen, of everything and everyone.
And then the timekeepers came along and saved us all.
No, no, this is where we diverge from the dogma. That first variant encountered a creature created from all the tears in reality, capable of consuming time and space itself. A creature you both know.
Eliath.
Bingo. I harnessed the beast's power and began experimenting on it.
I weaponized Eliath. And I ended the multiversal war. Once I isolated our timeline, all I have to do is manage the flow of time and prevent any further branches. Hence, the TVA. Hence, the timekeepers in a highly efficient bureaucracy. Hence, ages and ages of cosmic harmony. Hence, you're welcome.
Now this show has a second season coming, and I don't know if it'll be as good as the first one, but time will tell. Anyways, let's move on to my last gripe with Marvel, which is how connected the MCU is nowadays. Not everything has to be connected, especially in this stage of Marvel when there's 32 films and 5 or 6 shows already. The amount of content there is makes it hard for a newbie who wants to dip their toes into the MCU to keep up, because it's so interconnected and convoluted. I didn't really notice this problem until I watched the Marvels trailer. Now this movie doesn't look bad at all. It actually looks like it's going to be a fun watch in the theaters, but the issue isn't with the movie itself, rather how it's structured, because depending on how this movie is going to turn out, you're going to have to watch WandaVision, Miss Marvel, and Captain Marvel to be able to fully understand this movie, and that makes it difficult for this movie to differentiate itself from anything else and really stand out. Which is why the Guardians trilogy is really the best trilogy in the MCU, because you don't have to watch any other MCU movies to understand it. Now you might be saying to the screen, boom boy, you actually have to watch Endgame and Infinity War to understand Guardians 3? And to that I say, no you don't. There's literally a scene where Quill explains verbatim why Gamora doesn't like him anymore.
I'm so sorry about this, Yoda.
Oh, please.
We're here to save the life of our friend. That is all. We paid her to help us get in and get out. You'd think that'd mean, oh, I'm gonna help you do it in a way that no one knows it's happening. But no, what she means is I'm gonna shoot people, threaten people's lives. And I know you're probably asking, why would I trust her? Well, that's a good question. The answer is, we used to be in love. Yeah, she was my girlfriend, only she doesn't remember it because it wasn't her. Because her dad threw her off a magic cliff and she died, and then I lost my temper and nearly destroyed half the universe. And she came back out of the past. There she is. Everyone else who died in the past stayed dead. Not her. Why? Was it the magic cliff? I don't know. That's some freaking Infinity Stone scientist. And some dumbass Earth dude who met a girl, fell in love. That girl died. And then came back a total dick.
You left out some important information, but that is the gist of it.
Guardians 1 and 2 are completely separated from the rest of the MCU, which is something I did just praise Moon Knight for, but whatever. Now, this was originally gonna be like a whole video essay, but honestly, I'm too lazy to put in that effort, and also I don't know how to do all that shit. So, you know, maybe one of these days I'll revisit this topic and talk about why the MCU is shit. But you know, I can't really talk because I'm still a Marvel dick writer. I'll go to like almost any Marvel movie, but you know, what do I know?